Never was there greater need for saintly men and women, more imperative still is the call for saintly God-devoted preachers. The world moves with gigantic strides that became one. Satan has his own role in the world and labors to make all its efforts serve his ends. Religion must do its best work, present its most attractive and perfect models. By every means, modern sainthood must be inspired by the loftiest ideas and by the largest possibilities to the Spirit. Francis says Paul lived on his knees that the Ephesian church might measure the heights, breadths, and depths of the immeasurable saintliness and be filled with all the fullness of God. The paraphrase legends so well with the exhaustive toil and strenuous conflict of fervent prayer that the Colossian church might stand perfect and complete in all the will of God. Everywhere everything, in apostolic times, was on the stretch that the people of God might each and all come in unity of faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, into a perfect man, into the measure of the stature and fullness of Christ. No preeminence was given to dwarfs, no encouragement to no babyhood. The babies were to grow old instead of feebleness and infirmities, or to bear fruit in old age, and be fed and nourished. Point 3 says, the divinest thing in religion is holy men and holy women. No amount of money, genius, or culture can move things for God. Holiness, energizing the soul, of woman and flame of love, with desire of more faith, more prayer, more zeal, more consecration. This is the secret of power. These we need and must have, and men must be the incarnation of this Christ in plain devotedness. God's advance has been stayed, his cause crippled, his name dishonored for their lack. Genius, though the loftiest most gifted, education, though the most learned and refined, position, dignity, place, other names, high ecclesiastics, cannot live from this charity by God. It is a fiery one, and fiery forces only can move it. The genius of Milton fails, the imperial strength of Leo fails. Brainard's spirit can move it. Brainard's spirit was on fire for God and fire for souls. Nothing earthly, worldly, selfish came into obedience, least the intensity of the soul-impelling, final, consuming force and flame. Point 4 says, prayer is the Creator's voice, a channel of devotion. The spirit of devotion is the spirit of prayer. Prayer and devotion are unlimited as soul and body are unified. Unlimited as life and the heart are united. Point 5 says, there is no real prayer without devotion, no devotion without prayer. The preacher must be surrendered to God in the holiest devotion. He is not a professional man. His ministry is not a profession. It is a divine institution, a divine devotion. He is devoted to God. His aim, aspirations, ambition are for God and to God, and to such prayer is as essential as service to life. Point 6 says, the preacher, above everything else, must be devoted to God. The preacher's relations to God are the insignia and the credentials of his ministry. These must be clear, conclusive, and unmistakable. Point 7 says, no common surface type of party must be his. If he does not excel in grace, he does not excel at all. If he does not preach by life, character, conduct, he does not preach at all. If his party be light, his preaching must be as soft as sweet as music, as gifted as Apollo, yet its weight will be a feather's weight, visionary, fleeting, as the morning cloud of early dew. Devotion to God, there is no substitute for this in the preacher's character and conduct. Devotion to a tribe, to a lineage, to an organization, to orthodoxy. These are paltry, misleading, and vain when they become the surface of interpretation. The animus of the call. God must be the mainspring of the preacher's effort, the fountain and crown of all his toil. Point 8 says, the name on our Lord Jesus Christ, the advance of his cause must be all in all. His preaching must have no inspiration but the name of Jesus Christ, no ambition but to have him glorified, no toil but for him. Then prayer will be the source of his illuminations, the means of perpetual advance. the gauge for success. A perpetual ambition, the preacher continues to have God with him. Never did the cause of God need perfect illustrations of the possibilities of prayer more than in this age. No age, no person will bring samples of the gospel of power except the ages of persons of deep and earnest prayer. A prayerless age will have but scant models of divine power. Prayerless hearts will never rise to these alpine heights. The age must be a better age than the past, but there is an infinite distance between the betterment of an age by the force of an advancing civilization, and its betterment by the increase of holiness and Christ-likeness by the energy of prayer. The Jews were much better when Christ came than in the ages before. It was the golden age of their Pharisaic religion. Their golden religious age crucified Christ. Never more praying, never less praying, never more sacrifices, never less sacrifice. Never less idolatry, never more idolatry, never more temple worship, never less God worship, never more lip service, never less heart service. God worshipped by lips whose hearts and hands crucified God's Son. Never more churchgoers, never less saints. It is a prayer course which makes saints. Holy characters are formed by the power of real praying. Nine says, the more true saints, the more praying, the more praying, the more true saints.